Well, it's still April 22nd, and I'm working down some of that cover crop stuff we had last year. You can see there's a pretty distinct line right here. This stuff we planted earlier in the year, obviously. This stuff later. This wheat got farther along, and that's why it looks golden. That wheat got more of a green before the frost hit, and it just kind of laid over. So we'll get out and look at this here, actually. So here we are. I've just made one down and back here, and I pretty much split the field when I got in here. And you can see it probably better this way. How quickly this is drying out. We got probably a good 10 to 15 mile an hour wind with the sun out. And it's really helping dry this out, which is, it's not terrible. It's actually almost perfect. Like this farm, it's been a while since it's been this dry and nice. But really happy with how it's working up. That stuff, the green wheat that laid over in the back is always a little wetter. It definitely was trapping some moisture into the ground. There's definitely a little more stuff sticking to the tires, but not bad at all. We have to work this stuff, guys. We can't just plant into this. There's a turnip. We can't just plant into this. I know a lot of, like up here we probably could, but behind the hill there we'd be in trouble. We'd have mud in the planter. But yeah, so this is tillage radishes and turnips. So here would be a turnip. And then this is a concept of a tillage radish, I think. You can see this didn't get very big. They try to go down in there, and they're kind of like a long hot dog type thing that goes down. But I don't know, it would have been nice. This stuff's all working up nice because this wheat is just, you know, the only reason we put the wheat in is for a carrier. We couldn't slow our spreader down slow enough, but it looks great. Pretty excited to see how this will work in. Is this a tillage radish? I think it is, but they're all broke down. But you can see that it leaves a crater. That's why it's called a tillage radish. It goes down and breaks up the soil. Well, we've heard horror stories on those, that if you plant them too early, they can get down into your tile lines and just wreak havoc. But luckily we had an early frost and killed these things off. But I think it takes like 10 degrees. It has to get down to 10 degrees Fahrenheit before they'll die. But don't think we had any issues, and we're pretty excited to see how this will help this year. I'm also going to mention that this stuff would go through a regular field cultivator probably just fine. Back there, that greener stuff that just fell over last fall, I don't know. But this mulch finisher with these blades up front is slicing it up. It's going through the ripper type style shanks and then regular S-tines. I mean, look at the job we're doing. It's doing the same job in the back too. I mean, you cannot complain. This is quite the outfit. Holy smokes, this is great. Oh, it's so hard to tell that winter's come through, but I'm fairly certain this is a tillage radish that just didn't get too big. And then your turnips are more of a round thing. Like, I think this was gonna be one, unless it's just a really, I think that's gonna be your turnips. Which that very well could have been a turnip that just grew differently. The radishes were more of like a long, they were like all white. And they might have just broke down over the winter, but how neat is this stuff? We're new to this. That's a turnip. We're new to this, so we're you know, we're not experts by any means. We did this because it was so wet last spring, but boy, this is great. Here's where we're up against in the back here. This was later planted. We didn't originally get enough wheat seed and everything to do everything. We didn't think we were gonna do everything, and then all of a sudden we decided to. So this is later. You can see it just kind of laid over. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is dry. It's just a little more ropey, and it acts a lot more like a swamp slough grass. So it definitely wants to wrap the shanks, but or it would want to. But those discs are helping cut it up, so it's flowing through the machine very nicely, not leaving any clumps across the field. I'm really happy with the job this is doing. And we're getting this aired out here. Let's get out of the wind. So I'm sure people are gonna be like, that's not how you're supposed to cover crop. You're supposed to plant into it, or you're supposed to this. Like I say, we're very new to this. It's not our style of farming. We are a conventional farm, conventional till farm. Definitely interested in it, but we farm a lot of very wet and heavy ground, and this is definitely wet and heavy. With this grass laying over this is not going to dry out until like middle of summer. So we need to help turn it up, get some oxygen, get the sun shining on it, and get it so it is drying out, so we can get a better potential, get in here earlier, plant the corn, and get a better yield. I know there's areas that no-till works great, and you guys probably do a lot of this cover crop stuff, and I mean, more power to you. I think it's very cool. But again, a lot of our guys in our area, they were ripping this stuff under in the fall with like a full-blown ripper, because they were afraid that it would plug their regular field cultivators or diggers. But we were pretty confident with the discs on this mulch finisher that we'd be able to get through it. Don't get me wrong, definitely a little nervous if the stuff would have dried out in time for this spring, but as of now, we're having a pretty unseasonal dry spell. So we're able to get through this. It's working up pretty good. There's definitely plenty of moisture under this. Had we had a wet spring, this could have been a mess. But hey, it's working out right now. Somebody's looking out for us upstairs, and we'll take it. Again, don't take this as a standoffish video about different tillage practices and farming practices. Genuinely interested in all the different ones. Just saying that we did a little no-till, but it's probably not for us right now at the moment. Definitely we kind of experiment with them in a couple areas, but one thing we would like to try is a vertical tillage tool, but those darn things are so expensive, and you know, that would be something that we'd be interested in, because it would help us manage our residue and also be able to help dry the fields out and, you know, turn them a little bit, get that black showing just enough to get the sun attracted. But again, we are in Minnesota. It's a tight window to farm, and we have to do everything we can to kind of give ourselves the advantage against Mother Nature a lot of times. So yeah, that's why we do what we do up here. But yeah, just a quick video of our cover crop situation on these fields. Some of them are going to look like this, some of them are going to look like the front of this field, just depending on when we planted it, because we had that early frost. But nonetheless, still going to get some nutritional value out of the stuff that we have here, because we're working it back into the soil and whatnot. But yeah, it's just, this is why we're tilling it. I know it works differently in different areas of the world, and that's what's cool about agriculture and what's cool about YouTube, because we can see what works in areas and certain areas and what doesn't work in certain areas. So thought I'd share. So with that, you guys take it easy, be safe as always, and we'll check you later.